Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now moving to Cuba. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel has condemned U.S. President Donald Trump's recent threat to impose additional tariffs on countries that trade oil with Cuba. In a statement on X, Diaz-Canel has accused Trump of attempting to suffocate Cuba's economy under a false and baseless pretext. This comes as the U.S. president signed an executive order on Thursday intensifying economic pressure on the communist island by targeting countries that sell oil to Cuba. This move is seen as part of ongoing efforts to curb Cuba's access to crucial resources and further isolate the country on the global stage. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Mark Sutherland. He joins us live from London. Thank you very much, Mr. Sutherland, for staying with us. Why is suddenly Cuba in the picture or in the eyes of President Trump?
Cuba has always been in the picture. You only have to look at many people that escaped the communist island, as you have just read out and described, which it is, under Fidel Castro, and then from there. They are interested. Many ex-Cubans who managed to leave are now in Florida because of that. And we have to remember the Foreign Secretary Rubio is of Cuban descent, like many others in that area. And then referring also to Ted Cruz in Texas. So it is a communist country. People are not free to express their opinion, which is another issue that the UK is facing, and it's always led by tyranny. So many connections there. Family, in regard to family, of why people fled Cuba and then have gone to Florida. We then have to look in the 60s, the Cuban Missile Crisis, when JFK was alive before he was shot. How we then handled that. We don't have time to discuss the Bay of Pigs and trying to overturn the regime at that time. But they are communist, and a variety of people understandably object to that. We only have to look through the 20th century. We look at Stalin, and we also look at how the China then conducts itself with their history when we go back to Chairman Mao. So it's a communist island that the American ideology, what America stands for, disagrees with. So how this is going to play out, it's going to be interesting, because the oil, other minerals are being used again by President Trump to rattle diplomatic cages, in my humble opinion.
Right. We will be eyeing that. Thank you very much. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Sutherland for joining us today and sharing that insight. Now we move on to our next news. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested by federal authorities